Hello, everyone, and welcome to Power Hour. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. We're excited about what we have in store for you. And as we begin 2026, we're off to a great start already and looking ahead to an exciting time of what's going to happen across the Low Country in 2026. We're especially looking forward to recognizing some of our unsung heroes at our upcoming Chamber of Commerce Ball, which I think you're going to have a great time at and really, really enjoy. This year's theme is A Night at Studio 54, and we're encouraging everyone to lean into that disco vibe and dust off that velvet tux and get ready to come out and have an exciting night at the 2026 Chamber Ball. It's always a memorable evening and, more importantly, a chance to recognize individuals or organizations that who often go behind the scenes and truly deserve that spotlight. So we'll be celebrating that and also presenting our Heritage Award. The Heritage Award is named after the Heritage Classic Foundation, whose legacy and caring for this community has made a lasting impact. We're also introducing a new honor this year, and that's called the Guardian Award. Guardian Award recognizing an individual or a business committed to protecting and preserving our Low Country environment. Invitations went out yesterday, so we hope you'll check your email and see those invitations, and you don't want to miss it. We hope you'll join us for what promises to be another special night. And of course, one of everyone's favorite weeks of the year is right around the corner. What is that? Well, it's Chamber Restaurant Week, and that's going to kick off January 31st and run through February 7th. Here's some astonishing numbers that I'll share with you. That last year we saw more than 75,000 visits to chamberrestaurantweek.com. And then also we had over 179,000 click-throughs looking at our restaurants, menus, and also clicking through for reservations. So we're adding new restaurants each and every day as the menus come in. So get your reservations early so you'll be able to stop by one of your favorite restaurants or get out and certainly explore a new one. So now let's dive into Power Hour. And we'll begin today's conversation with a person that I think is quite timely for us. We know that there's continues to be a lot happening in Washington, and there's still some uncertainty around what it means for businesses. And that's why we're pleased to welcome this morning Tom Sullivan, who's the Vice President of Small Business for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Tom is widely regarded as one of the most respected voices in Washington. He brings deep policy expertise, including time spent serving the White House and strong understanding of how those federal decisions translate into real-world impacts for communities like ours. Tom, we're glad to have you with us today. It's always great to hear your insight from Washington, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Bill. It's a pleasure. I'm going to try and share my screen, so just bear with me. Let's see, we go. Bill, could you give a verbal thumbs up that you could see the presentation? Okay, that's not going to work. All right. I think that is good. Anyone give a verbal thumbs up that you can see the presentation? I will take that. I'm not hearing anything, so I will take that as a yes. Thank you for allowing for me to present just a state of small business. Right now, it's a pleasure, and it's especially a pleasure to address a 5-star accredited Chamber of Commerce. The Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber is one of the elite 5-star accredited chambers of commerce. Bill Miles talked about Restaurant Week. I think many of us know what getting a Michelin star means for a restaurant. Well, the 5-star accreditation is basically the Michelin star for chambers of commerce. So congratulations, Bill and your team. Not an easy thing to accomplish, but certainly very impressive. And that's what it makes me extra pleased to present to you this morning a few things about what's going on with small business. All right, so as you probably know, U.S. Chamber of Commerce represents 3 million businesses. Most of them are small businesses. Most of them are actually the small business members of your chamber and about 1,600 of your closest other chambers around the United States. I can't talk with over 2 million small businesses every day. So how do we figure out how they're doing? Well, we survey them and we take the pulse of small business every quarter and try to use that to inform our priorities, our decisions, and how we advocate on behalf of small business before Congress. So our last survey was in the field during the government shutdown and saw a little dip in confidence. And that actually is very instructive for the debate going on right now in Congress when they are scrambling to pass appropriations bills and fund the government by the end of this month, by the end of January 2026. We know that uncertainty was the year of 2025. It's the beginning. It's certainly the word that is the beginning of 2026. And we know that when the government shuts down, it adds to that level of uncertainty and drives down the confidence level of small businesses. So we certainly are already aggressively trying to convince Congress and the White House not to allow the government to shut down again. What we found not only was that the confidence dipped a little bit in the last quarter of last year, but the more negative than positive about the national economy actually continues. It's been this way for a long time. 38% of small business owners are positive about the national economy, but unfortunately, 44% are negative. Now, the good news is that small businesses actually are more positive about their local economy. So small business owners in Bluffton on Hilton Island, what we found nationally is that they're more comfortable and more confident in how they're doing at a local level and how the economy is doing at a local level than they are from a national perspective. Also, we see the same phenomena translate into confidence in their own cash on hand, their own cash flow. 70% of small business owners are confident in the health of their own business. One thing to keep in mind, this did dip a little bit in the fourth quarter, but it is still at historically high levels of confidence. Now, this won't surprise anyone. Concerns over inflation continue to be the top concern. And you know, this really, as we enter into 2026, this is front and center on Congress and the president's radar. How do we make things less expensive? How do we allow people to purchase groceries easier without putting a major dent in family finances? How can you pay for that employee that is your most valued employee? How can you give them a raise without going bankrupt? So all of those things translate into how small business owners think of inflation, and still is the top concern. And what we did see, and the reason that this is on this slide, when there are tons of data that come in from our quarterly survey, I try to pick out the most interesting things. And one thing that we found is that small business owners, even if they're not able to hire more employees, they're putting increased value in their best current employees. And they're really doubling down on how they can keep those best employees. That 17% of small business owners who cited that employee retention is their top concern, that's the highest level in the history of our survey. Now, so really the good news, this is small business growth over a couple of decades. And as you could see here, it was relatively flat for a long, long time. And then COVID happened, and basically the economy bottomed out. So did small business. But the rebound really has been incredible. And it has maintained at high levels ever since COVID. So these are new business starts. We actually don't really know what these small businesses are going to grow into, but the fact that there are more people in the United States that want to work twice as many hours just to be their own boss really is a positive. It certainly bolsters our outlook on free enterprise in the United States. There's a lot of things that we talk about successes last year. The biggest one really for the entire business community was the tax law, otherwise known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And the reason I highlight this right now in the new year is because this is the time when small business owners are starting to get their receipts together and planning on meeting with their tax advisor. There is a lot in this new tax law that small business owners and all business owners can take advantage of to put that law into work for them, to free up cash, to allow for more investments. And it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. We could not have passed this tax law that makes 20% small business deduction permanent. It reinstates 100% expensing for research and development and a lot of other things. We could not have done that without the support of your chamber and your chamber peers around the United States. So thank you. And please, if you take one thing away from my brief remarks this morning, talk with your tax advisor and ask, how can I use this new tax law to benefit my business? And hopefully that means grow your business, because there's a lot in there you could take advantage of. Now, 2026. What's happening in 2026? Well, I am referring to 2026 as the year of small business artificial intelligence adoption, AI adoption. More and more small business owners are talking with their peers in the small business world and asking, hey, how are you using ChatGPT? How are you using Gemini? How are you using Claude? How are you using Perplexity? And to hear their answers is amazing. And so I think some of the testing and experimentation that happened in 2024, 2025, I think that is actually going to manifest in adoption in 2026. We already see close to 100% of small businesses taking advantage of AI, but I mean, really using it for their business operations. I think this is the year that we will see that. And really, it's not much of a surprise. Small businesses have always used technology as an enabler and technology really as to level the playing field so that they can compete with global multinational companies through the use of technology, and AI is the latest iteration of that. We are certainly focused on red tape reduction. Actually, immediately after addressing you, I'm running up to Capitol Hill to participate in a congressional hearing on red tape reduction. But these are just several highlights of victories last year the U.S. Chamber is very proud of, that basically reduced regulatory burden that prevents businesses, large and small, from hiring workers, from investing in their business, for growing their business, building new facilities. All of those things mean less growth, but when you reduce red tape, that means more growth, higher salaries, more benefits for your employees. We are so proud to partner with the Small Business Administration to try to focus on rules that small business owners themselves think are either duplicative or unnecessary. They have a hotline that is staffed with professionals who want to hear your suggestions on how to reduce red tape, and that hotline information is there on this slide. Last but not least, we continue to reach an amazing number of all of you and other small businesses through our digital platform called Co. And the website is there. We want to provide this with the best chambers of commerce and your membership. We want easy access to tools, tips, information. And certainly, I think just to highlight, when the Supreme Court does make a decision on tariffs, we're going to be looking to get information out almost immediately to small businesses, and we'll be using this small business digital platform to do so. Happy to take any questions, Bill, that you or your team or your membership might have.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. There's no more of an important place you need to be today than on Capitol Hill representing business. We have a number of questions, but I'll ask you a couple of them because I know your time is short and need to run. The first one, Tom, is coming in from Bob, and Bob is asking about the status of the H-2B visa release. We understand only 50% of visas were released, and there's a threat to have workers available in February.
So, Bob, thank you for that question. Bill, thank you for communicating it on. So, Bob Cosgrove is actually very well informed. You're right about half the visas released. We take that as a half a loaf victory. And even if all of the visas were released, it's still not enough. Bill, what I will do is I'll forward to you Patrick's information. He is our immigration expert, and he can drill down at a level of detail that might be helpful to Bob and other of your members who might be interested in the status of the H-2B visas. On the lawsuit side, so many of you know that we actually challenged the most recent policy on H-2B visas with the $100,000 cost. We lost at a district court level, and we are appealing it. And that's the latest on the lawsuit. Back to you, Bill.
All right, Tom. Michael is asking if you foresee AI regulation impacting small businesses.
So, Michael, the simple answer is yes. There will be, and it's a good news, bad news. I'll start with the bad news. Bad news is we see states having a patchwork of rules governing privacy and marketing content using AI. We view a patchwork system as destructive to businesses, large and small. We are calling for a federal regulatory framework to help folks use artificial intelligence. So we are actually pushing proactively for regulation. Now, obviously, our version of regulation is a lot different than others. Ours are guardrails that give a lot of liberty and freedom to businesses to be creative and help serve their customers. That's a little bit different than some other versions of regulation. But primarily, I think there's two things that we're focused on. One, there's got to be a national regulatory framework. A patchwork of state laws is just destructive to small business and large business growth. And two, there cannot be provisions in any type of framework, whether it be a state or federal level, that basically just gives trial lawyers another excuse to sue businesses large and small. The trial lawyers are out of hand. I'm not sure if you saw the latest news that they're suing McDonald's because the McRib isn't some gourmet pork rib product, which is absurd. But it's this type of absurd class action lawsuits that are driving up costs and making it harder for Americans to afford groceries and meals. And that we think that the same approach of preventing class action lawsuits has to be applied to any national framework on artificial intelligence. Bill?
All right, Tom. The last question I know that you have time for is coming in from Catherine, and Catherine is asking about, our supply chains still an issue?
Yeah, so Catherine, thank you. So supply chains are one of the many ingredients that go into what small business owners would calculate as inflation, because it's just costing more. And the tariffs impact on supply chains is still something that is on our radar, and we are going to be certainly pushing for more regulatory certainty going forward. We think that once the tariff issue is resolved at the Supreme Court level, that should smooth things over as far as supply chains. Now, there will always be ripples in the pond that are supply chains, but we think that the giant waves that we encounter now should be reduced to gentle ripples, and the uncertainty having to do with supply chain once we get these tariff issues resolved.
Tom, thank you for being with us. Thank you for all you do. Appreciate the shout out to our organization on the 5-star accreditation. It certainly means a lot to our entire region. And lastly, put your cape on for small business, get to the hill, and go do great work like you do every day.
Will do. Thank you, Bill. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Take care.
All right, Tom Sullivan with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Now we're going to turn our focus to one of the events that continues to shine on the international spotlight in our region. And we're pleased to be joined by Steve Wilmot, who's the president of the Heritage Classic Foundation and also the tournament director for the RBC Heritage. We're proud to have the longest serving tournament director on the PGA Tour. And Steve is certainly a highly respected by the tour. He's highly respected by the players as well as the entire golf community. And Steve's going to share what's new for us this year for the tournament as far as the fans go, business community, etc. And what's exciting coming to Harbortown coming up in less than 100 days now. Steve, welcome, and we're delighted to have you with us today.
Well, Bill, I don't want to throw you for a curveball, but I wanted to let you know one of my other favorite events, other than the RBC Heritage, is the Chamber Ball. So I thought I'd get a little plaid on here this morning, get ready for the disco. But good morning, and thanks, Tom, beforehand, too. Bill, I appreciate you and your team for thinking of us. And the interesting thing is I thought, Bill, we were going to talk a little football today. So, but if that's not the case, that's okay. But I did have the pleasure this morning of dropping my daughter, who's a senior at Ole Miss, off to at one of our incredible airports, and she's on her way to the Fiesta Bowl. So, so that's exciting for this family, and good luck to Indiana this week. But Bill, thank you. Yeah, yeah, hotty toddy. So, but good morning, community. Happy New Year, and thank you again for your time. But Bill, I guess there was a few things I wanted to touch on too, and it's an exciting time for all of us. Obviously, the first year just got through the holidays and all, but I think one thing that was missed maybe over the summer is the fact that in August that we did sign a multi-year agreement with RBC to continue through the next several years anyway, for the sake of the tournament. It's good to be us. And when I say us, it's what I'm going to talk about here a little bit too, about the foundation, the community, the village that it takes, all the efforts of everybody in this community. But we have a commitment from RBC, we have a commitment from Boeing and the PGA Tour. There's a lot happening with the PGA Tour these days, and we're fortunate to be who we are, where we are as a signature event, and we're excited with the multi-year agreement from RBC to be able to continue to plan accordingly with all our partners, and all those partners being many of you are here on this Power Hour today. But a couple things that happened this fall that were very exciting to us, and it's a true testament to what we talk about as community. It's not about the foundation and us and the tournament itself, but it's the efforts of the entire community, whether it is Sea Pines, this resort, whether it's Sea Pines, the town, our hoteliers, our airports, all our incredible partners, Pullman Electric, and I can go on and on and on. But it's a compliment to all the efforts of everybody to be able to host one of the few events in the PGA Tour, 42 of them. But this fall, a couple things happened this fall. Is we had tour meetings. Each year we have annual tour meetings, and in November the tournament was, in December, our tournament, the RBC Heritage, was recognized as the most fan-first event. There's only 5 awards that are awarded by the PGA Tour, and this is an award that we're very proud of. And when I talk community, I talk about team and things too. I truly compliment everybody, but the staff, their efforts throughout the course of the year to do what they do, is incredible. And I'd like to read what the award was and how we were recognized, and completely surprised, but it's voted upon by our peers, voted upon by the players, the PGA Tour, competitions, the networks. I can kind of go on and on. But the Fan First event, the RBC Heritage sets the standard for a fan-forward event by providing a world-class experience for every attendee, regardless of ticket type. With a diverse array of ticket options and hospitality venues, fans enjoy a premier amenities, seamless logistics, engaging activities, and exceptional viewing opportunities throughout the tournament. With Plaid Nation making up the event's loyal fan base, the event has become a week-long celebration rooted in Southern hospitality. Thank you. I mean, this is a true testament that it's of what we do on a 13-month effort, working with this community, working with our partners, the staff's effort as they continue to do 13 months out of the year, as I say, 53 weeks out of the year. It is true a testament to the efforts of everybody that we're being recognized in this way. And we want to continue to raise the bar. We want to continue to be the best in class. And we will, just because we've done it in a way doesn't mean we're not going to continue, but there are changes that could be made to just continue to be best in class. So that's one of those exciting things that has happened. Now, another thing that did happen too, out of 100,000 volunteers, they recognize a volunteer of the year, and then there's 4 additional ones that they recognize as a volunteer runner-up per se. And one of our volunteers, Bill Schilling, who oversees transportation, was recognized as one of the 4 runner-ups on the PGA Tour this year too. So, we talk about the efforts of so many, but this community, and which will lead into something else. This community is incredible with regards to giving back, the community with volunteerism. So if we didn't have the 2,000 plus volunteers, we couldn't do what we do, and we wouldn't be able to give back as we have. And Bill Schilling is one of those gentlemen that sits in a trailer and does a lot of work outside off the golf course, and his efforts over the year was greatly appreciated. And he was recognized this year too, which is a great honor for all of our staff as well, but certainly for him. Which will lead into something else that happened is we were recognized, or back in November, we were contacted by the PGA Tour with regards to an organization, which obviously I think people realized about being recognized. There's over 3,000 charities that are supported by PGA Tour events on the PGA Tour, and we were notified in November that the Deep Well Project was to be recognized as the charity of the year. With that came a $30,000 donation from the PGA Tour, which the Heritage Classic Foundation, through our matching grants, matched 20% of that and things too. But we ended up, through our team here, working with Alexis and Angela and many others, we coordinated with Sandy, without her knowledge, of the Deep Well Project. We were talking about just doing some B-roll and doing some things to support the Heritage Classic Foundation. And we were able to, as a staff and some board members, go out there to help support the efforts of the Deep Well project and what they do on a year-round basis. And Bill, what I'd like to do, if we can go ahead and show that video, and then we can kind of talk a little bit more about that, take some answers, and then Sandy's going to say a few words here too.
All right, Steve, absolutely. The video is getting teed up. And
okay. Yeah, whatever works. Yeah, if you'd like to ask some questions here, but I'd like to go ahead into that. That'd be great. Thank you.
We are all about neighbors helping neighbors. We try to stabilize folks who are experiencing some kind of crisis, but we also take it a step further and say, okay, now that we've got you stable, what can we do to help your family be more self-sufficient so you don't need to turn to a Deep Well Project or some other aid organization? What can we do to help families just develop that resiliency and ability to roll with the punches and pick themselves up?
The Heritage Bicycle Foundation and the RBC Heritage is so appreciative of what you, Deep Well Project, does for this community and trying to continue to make us better, this community, and to do better. And we greatly appreciate the efforts of everybody. And I'm happy to say that the PGA Tour is honoring the Hilton Head Deep Well Project as the PGA Tour Charity of the Year. So, no, thank you. And with that comes a contribution of $30,000 from the PGA Tour. This is just a little something that we greatly appreciate. I greatly appreciate the foundation, the RBC Heritage, for all that you do throughout the course of the year in making this community as special as it can be. So thank you,
Oh,
Sam.
my goodness. That is
Thank you.
fantastic. I am rarely speechless, but I was speechless.
We are so excited that the Deep Well Project has been recognized as the PGA Tour Charity of the Year, and to receive a $30,000 grant, which will go so far within their organization, but within this community as well.
With being the PGA Tour Charity of the Year and the grant that we are going to receive for this, that is going to go straight to our neighbors to help stabilize some of their housing needs. Average cost per repair is around $4,000 per home. So with a $30,000 grant, that's going to enable us to help a lot of families and a lot of houses.
Look at the volunteer support here. We know what they do for this community. And they have a couple different programs with the Deep Well in supporting those in emergency situations with whether it is their mortgage or their rent, and then also improving homes. We take so much for granted at times, but these are hard workers that work in this community, and if we're able to support and Sandy's efforts, the efforts of the Deep Well, all these volunteers out here are doing it on their time and giving back to something so special.
We always talk about we meet people in the crossroads. We have people coming to us who need help, and beautifully, we have so many people coming to us who can help, like our volunteers, like our supporters. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to be and to live in those crossroads.
What a super video, Steve, and very, very moving.
Well, Bill, and it was interesting how we were contacted again too, and trying to coordinate and really doing this and all too. Sandy was really, as she is, as we know how she is, she's like, oh, we'll figure it out. And there's a couple days that she wasn't going to be able to make it, and we're like, no, we need you to be there, Sandy. And but to go there and experience it, as to see what the efforts of the Hilton Head on the Deep Well Project, what Sandy does, the volunteers do, the entire for this community is was heartfelt, and it was really an eye-opener for us too, from our staff and that supported the efforts. But there's so many incredible organizations here in this community, but to be able to be, for Deep Well to be recognized by the PGA Tour, knowing they support over 3,000 organizations throughout the PGA Tour, it's an incredible testament again to Sandy and her efforts and all too. So thank you, Sandy, and I think Sandy's gonna jump in here and say a few things too.
Steve, yes, we're going to follow up with Sandy here, and wanted to just a couple questions for you that have come in, if you've got time for those before we transition.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, great. This one's coming in from Andrew, and Andrew's asking about any plans for new ticket packages this year.
You could certainly see we've tweaked some things in there too, but we're pretty standard where we've been. Please take a look. The team's taken really looks at the daily tickets to every different levels, and I think I don't think the packages that are being offered, as you can tell, we were being recognized as a compliment to looking and hearing from the community as well, and doing the best that we can, and in support of the efforts of the tour.
All right, next question's coming in from Olivia, and Olivia is asking, and before I ask the question, you may not have much to say about this, but on what the Brooks Koepka decision means for golf and the PGA Tour.
Actually, the only thing I can say is tune into the Golf Channel. I really can't. It's interesting news, but what this means, when things could change, honestly, I have no idea, and actually, Ponte Vedra really doesn't either at this time. And so stay tuned.
All right, thank you. And Victoria is asking about the question that seems to always come up, and that's parking. If there are any changes for parking coming in this 2026.
No, we're pretty standard. I mean, please understand working within some of the restraints or restrictions we have here within, and being a close community, that we look at every year of how to do better, how to be better, so we can continue to get better and all too. But we continue to work closely with the Coastal Discovery Museum, the team led by Morgan Hyde here. We have debriefed recaps with all of, whether it's the town or whether it's USCB or the CSA or Sea Pines. We look at it each and every year, and we continue to tweak that. Not that there's any big changes this year.
All right, thank you. Next question is coming from Abby, and Abby is asking, what are the various ways in which local businesses can engage and support the Heritage Classic Foundation in its endeavors?
Well, thank you for that question too. There's many different ways of getting involved, and you can certainly just reach out to ourselves, whether it is from a volunteer side, whether it's a support side. We have an incredible sales marketing team led by Derek Payton and Angela McSwain, and there's opportunities and effort there. Operationally, there's some supports. We have, like I said, many volunteer opportunities as well, if they're looking to give back in that way. Because there's no doubt we do what we do for the bottom line and giving back, and that's where our volunteers come into play, and being able for us to give back. But there's also an economic impact to this community that certainly is important too. So we want to continue to work together. We're looked upon as a unique special event on the PGA Tour because of this one of the smallest markets, one of the smallest communities on the PGA Tour. But there's certainly ways to get involved, and certainly feel free to reach out to us.
Steve, want to say thank you for being with us today, and also for what this tournament and the Heritage Classic Foundation means to the entire region and the entire state. And just listening to the awards that you and your team, how they were recognized, as well as the one of the volunteers of the year to Deep Well. It just runs so deep throughout our community, and it all starts with you and the team. So thank you for that. I do have to tell you that your sunglasses win, and those were sharp. Those were sharp.
Yeah, Bill. Hey, Bill, just one other comment too. When we talk community and support, and I can go on, and I mentioned the hotels and I mentioned the airports and all too, but an exciting thing that did happen is the restoration of the golf course. And I don't want to speak on behalf of the Sea Pines Resort, but their commitment to the tournament, their commitment to excellence, and providing a first-class golf course experience, it has been received and then some in so many ways. And we're excited about the commitment that was put forth, and Steve Burwell and John Farrell, and working with Davis Love and Mucuric Golf and the PGA Tour. It's really exciting for us to have been a part of that. But we also, their concern was making sure that the PGA Tour and the RBC Heritage presented by Boeing was intact, and made sure that just trying to raise the bar once again. So I thank the resort for their support.
Steve, thanks again, and we'll see you real soon. And let us know and others know what the Heritage Classic Foundation, the RBC Heritage presented by Boeing, needs.
Great. Well, thank you, Bill, and thanks for your support as well. And thank you for everybody there. And I look forward to hearing from Sandy again. That'd be great.
All right. Thank you. And what a great way segue into our next guest and Sandy Gillis, Executive Director of Deep Well. Sandy's going to talk to us a little bit about what this national recognition means for Deep Well and most importantly, the families that they serve. Sandy, welcome and congratulations on this great honor from the PGA Tour.
Thank you so much, Bill, and thank you again to Steve and the first class job that he and his team do with the local tournament. We did when that announcement was made on that livable housing job site. That was a complete surprise to me. My first thought was, oh my goodness, we just won the lottery. It was really a magical moment. There are so many amazing nonprofits here locally doing fantastic work that we're proud to partner with. So that was kind of lottery number one to have received a nomination locally. But when you think about winning at a national level across 40 plus different PGA sites, the reality of that major lottery moment really starts to sink in. And we could not have been more excited. We could not have been more surprised. But we definitely feel it was a complete collaboration of what this community does and how it just wraps its arms around people, around causes, always striving to be that tide that lifts all boats. The selection process was kind of interesting in that we kind of had one question to answer, and it was, if your charity was selected as the PGA Tour Charity of the Year, how would you invest the grant? And we thought about that a lot here at Deep Well, and we said, our nonprofit was chartered over 50 years ago when this little barrier island off the coast of South Carolina had a pretty serious water issue, and that people did not have safe drinking water. And that was the whole impetus that founded Deep Well. And when we think about crises in our community today, we really do feel housing is really at the crux of it all. One of Tom Sullivan's comments earlier was one of the largest fears small business owners have is attracting and retaining that workforce. And the biggest challenge, I think, facing our small business community here really is housing, because that's kind of where the rubber hits the road and determines whether they can attract good workers and keep good workers. So we did answer that PGA question of, if we were so honored, we would really invest in housing, especially for our workforce. And my guess is that answer probably resonated across all of the PGA Tour venues, because think about it, PGA Tour events are hosted in really, really pretty places. Kapalua, Miami, Scottsdale, Hilton Head Island. And those are amazing communities, but it's also really expensive to live there. So my guess is it's not that we were the best charity locally or nationally, but I think we're brave enough to be taking a swing at the biggest challenge that we see facing the community. We're super excited to have that grant from the PGA, and then to have the local RBC Classic match that grant. That's just giving us more fuel and more power to help neighbors with their housing challenges. And we just could not be more excited to be doing that work, and just the incredible support and our partners that we have here on Hilton Head to do that work. So that's really all I kind of have to say. Again, we feel like we won the lottery, but we also bear that responsibility of, to whom much has been given, much is expected. So we are rolling up our sleeves at Deep Well. We have been able to help about 600 families in 2025 with housing crises, whether that's an emergency rent or mortgage payment to stave off an eviction, or whether it's to improve houses like Steve Wilmot and his team helped us do that day in November. So we're just setting the bar even higher. We want to repair even more houses in 2026. We want to help stabilize folks even more. because we know it not only helps that individual family when we can do that, it helps their employer, it helps everybody around them. So we are hopefully going to double down and get even more good work done in 2026.
All right, Sandy, thank you. And a few questions for you, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
All right, great. The first question is coming in from Matt, and Matt is asking, what's the greatest current need at Deep Well?
Well, lately our food pantry has been very busy. So if your opportunity to help doesn't go much further than macaroni and cheese, you know what? Any kind of non-perishable food donation is always welcome at Deepwell. It's another way that we can help some of our hard-pressed families that may be living paycheck to paycheck. But when we talk about the housing challenge, which again is why I think we got the nod for this award, any kind of donation, if you're about to renovate your kitchen and there's nothing wrong with your stove and there's nothing wrong with some of the other things in your kitchen, we can find new houses for that kind of stuff. So that's another way that people, in a very simply, while you're helping improve your own house, perhaps some of your hand-me-downs could really help improve some other people's houses. And then, you know, I hate to say it, but cash is king. If you would like to make a financial donation, we're going to turn that into help for the community and help for local neighbors. So, and it always is the right size too, which is really nice.
I think you just answered our next question, which was coming in from Natalie, and she was asking about if gift cards are helpful as part of donations. So I would assume that the answer to that would be yes.
Absolutely. Any kind of gift card, whether it be to a grocery store or something, again, that we can fit into that basic needs stabilization portfolio. On our website, it's really easy to make a credit card donation if you would like to do that. And you can add a note as far as which program you might like that credit card donation assigned to, and we will be happy to fulfill those instructions.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. And Emily is asking if you're still running your Circles program and how people can get involved.
We actually are getting ready to start our 4th cohort of Circles families, and we are looking forward to that next month. The program meets every Wednesday night. We provide a meal. Thankfully, many of our local restaurants who are gearing up for Restaurant Week right now are some of our best supporters, and as far as helping us feed the 50 to 60 people that are part of the Circles meeting every Wednesday night. Really exciting news for 2026. I want to give a shout out to our great partner, Bluffton Self-Help. We are actually getting ready to open a second location on Hilton Head in conjunction with Bluffton Self-Help. And that is going to be, I think, a great springboard opportunity to offer some more of the Circles programming to a wider variety of people. A little bit more information about that to come, but that is very much in the works, because we do feel that while it's important to stabilize folks, whether that's a housing payment or help with our food pantry, what we really want to do is help people hone their skills, develop better workforce readiness, and Bluffton Self-Help has some great programs that do that. So we're not going to try to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to go partner up with them so they can bring some of the great programming they have been delivering in Bluffton to a lot more people here on Hilton Head. And Deepwell is an important connection point for that. A lot of the folks here know Deepwell. They have relied on us from time to time, but they may not be as familiar with the resources that Bluffton Self-Help can offer. So we are very much looking forward to that 2026 new collaboration for both of our organizations.
Sandy, thanks so much for being with us today. Again, on behalf of the entire community, thank you and congratulations on your award. Very, very exciting. And I know you'll use that to springboard into even greater things.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity, Bill.
All right. Sandy Gillis with Deep Well. And as we wrap up, I certainly want to thank each of our speakers today, and especially each of you for joining us for Power Hour. We appreciate your time, your engagement, and all you do to support this community. So we're looking forward to a great year ahead, a great year of Power Hours ahead, and looking forward to you being a part of it. Thanks for being with us today, and we'll see you real soon.